You know, there's a lot of different types of farming that happens in the United States. But one thing I actually didn't know they did was octopus farming. Yeah. And a bill has been introduced to stop it. And this is considered to be not just practical, but morally and ethically needed. Because I know humans look at anything that doesn't look like them and think they must be stupid. They don't understand the other thing's language, so it is stupid. But octopus have been shown to be very intelligent. They can recognize themselves in mirrors, which is considered to be a big thing for sentience. In fact, most animals will eventually, but the first time most dogs or cats, bears, whatever, sees themselves in a mirror, the first thing they respond to is the fact that there's no smell and it confuses them. But it does not take many of them long to figure out that if it moves this way, what's in the mirror moves this way. If that goes this way, the mirror goes that way. They're not totally stupid. This is why there are all those things with dogs and cats using those buttons so they can have conversations with the humans that are too stupid to understand their language. So they're being forced to learn human language. Octopus will use tools. They'll problem solve. And we've got people on this planet who not only will eat them, but they'll eat them live. You know, I always thought that was gross when it came to oysters, but at least the oysters can't wrap around your head and try to kill you back. However, will it pass? I don't know. If it passes, there's going to be another problem that I doubt anyone's thought of. Decades I have been signing petitions trying to get places like South Korea to ban the dog meat festivals and shit like that. And it's finally working. Finally. Having to do a lot with those little buttons proving that the dogs are not as stupid as humans want to tell themselves. Neither are horses. You know what? You don't have to use a bit. You don't have to use a whip. You don't have to use spurs. Horses are smart. If you could get one of those things, the buttons that were strong enough to take a horse's hoof, it would be able to. Horses have been known to memorize over 1,000 different maneuvers required of them. Okay? Most humans can't pull that shit off. But what happens when you ban a thing that's been going on for generations, where they have been deliberately rounding up or breeding dogs just so they can eat them, just like cows? And frankly, if anyone gave one of those button things to cows, we'd probably discover that whether we wanted it or not, if we had any morals at all, we wouldn't eat anything else other than plants. And I'm pretty sure sooner or later we'd find out that plants knew what was going on too. So either way, you're going to have a moral quandary. Something has to die so you can eat. However, a lot of these dogs that were scheduled to be lunch now have no place to go. The people that were breeding them don't want them. They don't want dogs just to have dogs around the house. And they sure as shit don't need 60 dogs around the house. So what's going to happen? Well, you know what? Over half of these dogs will probably end up getting euthanized anyway, because they bred for something that they knew could be stopped. But because they weren't sure it could be stopped, they had to breed in order to be able to be sure that they could cope with the demand. And here we are, with dogs that will get killed unless the rest of the world is willing to rehome them. And gee whiz, that's happening all over the place. Good luck with that.